Hi and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the 2 p.m. afternoon show, and as you can see by the title and the thumbnail of this video, it is a news show. We go off the news, but Man United is in the headlines again and they are linked to Kylian Mbappe. Wild, absolutely wild. Obviously in my wildest dreams was I want Mbappe to come to Manchester United. A lot of people probably wouldn't because of the latest antics regarding him and PSG, but he is probably for me the best football player in the world right now, and he's absolutely unbelievable, and Man United are linked to him. Do I think this is going to happen? Absolutely not. Do I think it would be absolutely incredible if somehow this was managed to be pulled off? Of course it would be, but we're going to get into the news and what this means for Manchester United regarding Kylian Mbappe. Also a little update on Hojlund and Kane from Fabrizio Romano. News coming around an Amrabat bid potentially going in from Manchester United, and Anthony Elanga is a Nottingham Forest player. That has kind of been confirmed now by Fabrizio. It's not official yet, but Fabrizio has confirmed it. But happy afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the chat. We also have Romano on That's Football just after this show. So stay here, watch this show, and then we have Romano coming after that. So thank you, everyone, for joining me this afternoon. But we're going to get into the chat and we're going to talk about Kylian Mbappe. I mean, it is crazy right now, but the news is coming in that Manchester United are among the clubs who have inquired about the possibility of signing Kylian Mbappe, and that is coming from Duncan Castles at the Times. Ben Jacobs then followed this up with Spurs, Manchester United, Inter Milan and Barcelona have all been in contact with PSG about a deal for Kylian Mbappe. Some discussions include a player swap deal. There you have it. You've got Ben Jacobs and Duncan Castles. Obviously been very good regarding transfers. I would go more towards Ben Jacobs there. And also you've got Sky reporting this as well. It's coming out from Sky that Man United are one of the clubs that are interested in Mbappe. If you haven't lived under a rock, you'll have seen the type of money that has been offered to Kylian Mbappe by Saudi Arabia. 700 million euros a year for Kylian Mbappe to go to Saudi Arabia. I think it's Al Hilal that are going in for him. And also as well, you've got they're willing to offer PSG a £300 million, a 300 million euro transfer fee. So it's absolutely ridiculous that's coming out from Saudi Arabia, which is why I think it's basically impossible for Man United to be going in for Kylian Mbappe at this point. And do you know one of the names that absolutely screams out to me is Spurs keeps popping up with Kylian Mbappe. Spurs keep getting put into this race, and you know, like it's like playing odd one out. It's like, who's the odd one out here? Who's the imposter among us? You know, like when you're on Among Us, why are Spurs even considering looking in towards Kylian Mbappe? Is that how they're planning to spend the Kane money when they sell off Spain? I mean, sell off Kane. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the fact that Spurs are in there is absolutely crazy, to be honest with you. And that's what makes me think Man United being linked is just, it's a bit of nothingness, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm sure we are looking to potentially do that deal because the fact that a player of Kylian Mbappe's quality is on the market it barely ever comes about, and the fact that PSG are generally willing to sell him, and I think they were looking for around 150 million euros, and then Saudi Arabia come in and offer 300 million euros. It's like they would have taken 150. It's ridiculous. Financial fair play needs to be put worldwide at this point, but the fact that Man United are interested is obviously a good thing. You want to be looking at the greatest talents in the world, but the fact that Spurs are in there makes me think this is, I doubt it's going to happen. But player swap deal, well, we'll give you McTominay, we'll give you Fred, we'll give you Donny, we'll give you Brandon Williams, we'll give you Eric Bailly, all for Kylian Mbappe. Do you think PSG are going to take that? Never in a million years. Never in a million years. So I think it's just a little bit of talk. Man United get linked to everyone, but it's an interesting one to say the least. Bulo, who's a member for 17 months, Glazer's logic, go all out on Mbappe, shirt sales will go through the roof, easy win. The only problem is Mount's got Mbappe's number already. Mount's got the number 7. You'd have to take the 7 off Mount, give it to Mbappe, unless Mbappe wanted a different number, but I'm assuming that he would want the number 7. So I doubt it's going to happen. But, you know, we have a dream. We all want to see Rashford and Mbappe playing together. But would you guys actually want Mbappe is what I would ask, because I would... It's a really difficult one. I've spoke to loads of different people. I'm personally in the camp where I think Mbappe genuinely is the best player in the world right now. Obviously, Messi and Ronaldo have been the greatest players of all time. But right now, Mbappe for me is the best player in the world. So I would want him at United. Because I look at that and I think, you bring him in, yes, the wages are absurd. The transfer fee is going to be a lot. But you bring him in and you genuinely do have the best player in the world. He would be unbelievable. He'd be scoring goals, he'd be getting assists. He'd be excellent. He'd be absolutely excellent. But then you look at the other side of it, the ego, you know, the kicking off behind the scenes, the wanting, you know, no player is bigger than the club. all of that stuff that kind of comes with Kylian Mbappe does seem to put you off sometimes. He's marking the chat. I've seen a few people saying that right now. I'm going to have a look for some of his comments. Simpson says, if Mbappe joins, the Glazers will stay another decade. I think the Glazers are going to go, if I'm going to be honest. I think the Glazers are going to go. So I don't think, I mean, the Glazers, I'm trying to go off this news story, but the Glazers are going nowhere near Mbappe. They're going nowhere near Mbappe. So it's definitely a signing that we'd want to pull off and do for the shirt sales. We just don't have the money. The wages would be ridiculous. It's just something we're not going to do. But would you actually want it? It'd be absolutely crazy if you could manage to pull off that deal. I was thinking, imagine if you went to City. City need a winger right now. Imagine if you went to City. I don't think you will, but Hojlund and Mbappe in the same team would just be, it should be illegal. That's Piano says, Spurs interested in Mbappe. It's like me going into a Lamborghini dealership. It's basically a lol. Spurs would be lucky to, could Spurs even attract the likes of, Eze from Crystal Palace and the likes of Elise that would be looking up for sale from Crystal Palace? I'm looking at that. If I was them, they've got Chelsea interested, they've got City interested. I don't think Spurs can even attract like mid-table Premier League players at the moment, to be honest with you. Never mind the likes of Kylian Mbappe. So do you remember, does anyone remember that clip of, what was it? I think they were over in, I can't remember where it was, but it was someone says Tottenham Hotspur, and the kind of the person that they're interviewing is like, Top Spur? Who's that? It's like, that's the kind of, I feel like that would be kind of the interpretation if you went to Mbappe and said, look, Spurs are interested to sign you. He'd be like, who's that? I don't, Harry Kane, is that it? Like, it just isn't going to happen. But you sound cocky like that coming from a Man United fan, because I don't think we really have a chance anyway. I think he will go to Saudi Arabia for a year. I can see it happening. PSG want to push it through. PSG want to sell him now. And he would be, I think, you could not question his character, but it'd be absolutely crazy to maybe turn that money down. 700 million euros he'll be getting in a year going to Saudi Arabia, and then he goes and gets to play for PSG. Gets to go and play for PSG, gets to go and play for Real Madrid, and he gets given that transfer fee. Unbelievable from him. He gets his dream move. Real Madrid will probably pay him a shed loads of money. Saudi Arabia lets him go on a free, and he gets 700 million for a year as well. It would be, the money you'd be raking in from it would be incredible. So I just don't see anyone, well, no one can compete with that. And I just think Mbappe is money hungry, and he wants to go to Real Madrid as well. So I see it happening. Let's see what the super chats are saying. Zayn Miassi says, Mbappe is ours. Why do United always try and nick Arsenal players? We can offer 200 million plus Balogun. Do you know what's absolutely crazy, Zayn? If you actually would have saved that 100 million you spent on Rice, who Kobe Mainu at the moment is outshining, you might have been able to, at least have a chance. You could have maybe gone in with a little bit of an offer. But, Mbappe doesn't want to go and play under Arteta, who doesn't know that a midfield of Havertz, Rice and Odegaard is too lightweight for the Prem. It's never going to happen. I love the delusion of Arsenal fans, though, sometimes. Jack says, there is no way Mbappe will come to the Premier League unless it's to a club with mega wealth such as Man City or Newcastle, and neither will go for him unless Man City want Mbappe on the wing with Haaland up front. I actually think Mbappe would come to United in the future. I really do. He's obviously got that relationship with Rashford that we know about. The Haaland and Mbappe kind of debate, being in Manchester would be incredible, especially when you're looking at, Erik ten Hag coming into Manchester United and he's bringing Man United slowly and surely back up there. That would be, I think he would come to United at some point. I just think right now his heart is set on Madrid, and he wants Madrid. It's his dream club. He wants to play for Madrid. I don't think anything's going to kind of take it away from that. And plus as well, I just don't, United will never be able to offer the type of wages that he's wanting right now. Currently, at this moment in time, it's not going to happen with the Glazers still in charge. If we had Qatar in now, if we had got Qatar in before this transfer window, I would be genuinely sat here saying we should be in for Mbappe, and I think there's a genuine chance that we can go and get him. There would be a very high possibility that Mbappe could become a Man United player. But under this ownership where we have no money, we're against financial fair play, and there doesn't seem to, we've pulled out of Kane to go and get Hojlund because we don't have the money. Never mind going for the likes of Mbappe. So at the moment, it's just not going to happen, but who knows for in the future. I think under Qatar, we generally could have got him. A lot of people don't want Mbappe. They think it's too much fuss. Ray Carl Brown says we're not getting it Mbappe this season anyway. Never say never, but it's not going to happen. Glazers out. I'm not having Saudi would pay that just for a year. There would be a catch. They're not that stupid. I mean, I could see Qatar selling selling though, if you see Qatar selling Qatar though, if you know what I mean. Glazers out, I do know what you mean. And Saudi, I looked at that deal and I thought, how? How is that benefiting them? Surely they're not getting the benefits out of that deal. 700 million euros in wages and 300 million transfer fee. That is a billion euro deal for 1 year. It is absolutely ludicrous. So I don't see how it would kind of work for them, but this is exactly why financial fair play needs to go worldwide, because this is going to, honestly, if that type of stuff happens, it'll just absolutely ruin football. It just will. Would you pay 150 mil to sign Mbappe for a year? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Anyway, let's move on to a little bit more news now. We can come back to the Mbappe stuff, but a super chat in from Ronald Tutil saying, a great never, never fairy tale. My 5-year-old grandson loving it, but is there any real life transfer story? Ronald, it came out of Sky, and people, you know, they worship what comes out of Sky and the transfer news that comes out of there. So we are going to speak about it. And Man United is a name that gets linked to Mbappe. I mean, Spurs have been linked to Mbappe, for God's sake, but there's genuine interest there. I just don't think Mbappe would want to take it on. It's like one of them says, who says no? Mbappe probably says no. And Man United can't pay they can't compete with what the likes of Saudi Arabia are wanting to pay for Mbappe. If it would have been what was originally touted, that 150 million euro mark, I would have been saying, we have to do this. We have to. Like, considering Declan Rice has just gone for 100 million, like 150 million euros for Mbappe, we would have had to have done it. But now the Saudi Arabia involved and, you know, Mbappe wants to go to Real Madrid, it just won't happen. But let's move on to a little bit about Soifan Amrabat, and that is that Manchester United are making concrete moves to sign Amrabat. Fiorentina want 28 million to 30 million euros. Man United's offer will presumably be around 25 million euros, including add-ons. So again, we're looking there and we're looking to Amrabat and how much he's going to cost. And here's one for you straight into the chat. Maybe we could get a poll going on this with Amrabat. Would you rather have Hojlund and Amrabat, because obviously we're spending, you know, about 25 million euros on Amrabat. Would you rather have Hojlund and Amrabat or just Harry Kane? What would you rather have? Because I know I was watching Mark's morning show this morning and I think it was like 56% of the chat would rather have had would rather have had Hojlund than Kane. And to me, that blew my mind because obviously Hojlund's younger and he's got a ceiling to go to. But Harry Kane right now could come into the Premier League for Man United and he'll probably score 30 goals next season for Man United. He's ready to go. He's probably the best striker in the world, in my opinion, at the moment. Haaland, obviously, as a goal scorer, is absolutely unbelievable. But as an all-round player, Harry Kane is the best striker in the league, probably the best striker in the world. So to not want him, if there was a possibility to get him, honestly blows my mind a little bit. And I just think, I do want Amrabat, and I think we need someone to come in for when Casemiro is injured. But when you look at what Harry Kane could provide, is it not better to maybe save that money and put it on Harry Kane? I'm not saying it is, but that is a question that could be asked. So, would you rather have Hojlund and Amrabat, or, no, not producer, what are you doing to me? Amrabat and Hojlund or Mbappe and Kane? Again, that's like asking me if I want to go to the Maldives or, you know, go down the road to Blackpool. No, it's not that one. It's Amrabat and Hojlund or just Harry Kane. Mbappe and Kane or Amrabat and Hojlund. No, I wish we were in that boat. But just Harry Kane or Amrabat and Hojlund is what I want to kind of ask people on this one and see what you'd say. Because honestly, I know that the poll is going to be landsliding towards Amrabat and Hojlund. And it should be. It really should be, in the sense of the new Man United and bringing in younger players and getting the squad depth there. And the fact that Hojlund, if he does well, he can be a striker for us for 10 years. The fact that we need someone to cover Casemiro because we don't have anyone that can do that role. That would be the more logical solution. But Harry Kane, I'm still not letting this dream die, even though Romano's telling me to, which I'm going to tell you all in a minute. It's just the fact that this is a possibility. I would love to do it. It's guaranteed 30 goals next year, in my opinion. At least 20. Guaranteed 30. And I still think he's got 3 years left in him, at least. So, and he's not a risk. But I know Man United have been down this road before, but Harry Kane would be absolutely insane. Like, I have rival fans telling me all the time, like, if you want us to take you seriously this year, go and buy Harry Kane and we'll take you seriously. It would be the perfect striker to come in for us, I think. And that's why he was Ten Hag's number one. I don't think it'll happen. But if you're kind of saving a little bit of money here and there, would you rather compromise? Especially now Kobbie Mainoo is doing so well in the pre-season. And obviously there's a difference between pre-season and playing general games, because we've all seen pre-season Pereira before. We know that it can change, but Kobbie Mainoo's looking excellent. So he's kind of looked down them roads and you think, could we maybe save the money and go and get Kane? But let's see what you guys are saying. I think it's going to be a landslide. Yes, 79% saying Amrabat and Hojlund in there, and that is wild to me, I'm not going to lie. But, you know, I like it in a sense of the fact, I like the fact that you guys want to go down this new direction that we should be going for, which is getting young talent in and putting faith in them and coaching them. And that's what Hojlund will be. We could be looking back on this Hojlund deal in in like 2 years' time and thinking, wow, thank God we went for Hojlund. Thank God we went for Hojlund, because he's absolutely unreal and he's going to be ours now for the next 5-6 years. We could be doing that. We also could be looking back and thinking we should have gone and spent that extra money on Harry Kane. Hojlund's not turned out to what we thought he should be. So there's risks in all sides. But all I know is that Harry Kane is definitely 100% guaranteed. Mark's in the chat. He says, Mbappe is in my DMs. I've just left him on red as Rasmus is more fun. Oh, don't. You know, you're not special, Mark. He's been DMing Harry Pinheiro as well. I'd have a word with him if I was you. Tejas Barakake says, this is true, United. Raw talent will always be preferred than a proven old star. Wow, calling Harry Kane an old star. That's not very nice, is it? But I get where you're coming from. Let's see if there's anything else I've missed here. Let me looking through. I feel like I've missed one, but I'll try and have a look in a second. Mbappe just goes on about money all the time, says Mark in the chat. 100 likes and you're legends. What have you been drinking, Mark? Has the missus spiked the tea this afternoon? He's in a good mood. That signing keeps the Glazers just from shirt sales, says Cotty Jake. Yeah, everyone do smash a like on the video. Smash a like on the video if you want Hojlund. Smash a like on the video if you want Mbappe. If there's anything in your wildest dreams, if you want Mbappe. Smash a like on the video if you're excited for Hojlund. But I do want to actually come in, because as I was saying about Harry Kane, Robert McCormack could be on my vibe with this one. Harry Kane is unbelievable and would transform this team. But Romano did do a little update before we went live, and he said, Man United working on Hojlund, not Harry Kane at this stage. Bayern will send new bid for Kane. PSG will accept €300 million bid, no doubts. No talks with Al Hilal, Mbappe yet, but permission given. PSG, still Real Madrid agreed with Mbappe. So we're not a PSG channel. Mbappe has been linked to us, but we do think he's going to head in the direction of Al Hilal for the money. Don't tell me you wouldn't do the same. I'm sorry, if someone offered me €700 million a year and, you know, 300 million to the United stand for me to go to Saudi Arabia, I think we'd all be taking that deal, wouldn't we? Not that, like, but actually that doesn't make sense, because that's me suggesting I'm like the Mbappe of the footballing world, which is absolutely not the case. But you all know the gist. If you got offered like 10 times more money, or, you know, quadruple the amount of money you're on now to go to Saudi Arabia for a year, that was life-changing for you, would you do it? Can you blame him? I think most people would. And if they're saying they wouldn't, maybe they're having a little lie to themselves. But I'm in the boat where, you know, money is all well and good, but it's about happiness. Would you be happy there? Money doesn't buy happiness. It's turning into a Stephen Bartlett podcast over here. But yeah, that's the news on Kane and Hojlund at this stage. I'm sure Mark's happy about that. Keeps Hojlund in the DMs. You know, I expect exclusive Hojlund interviews next year with this connection, if he's here. Sam Brock says, really, we should be going for Kane and Mbappe. We're blooming United. We've not been that kind of club for a while, to be honest with you. That's kind of, it's obviously we're so much bigger than Man City, but that's kind of what City's turning into now, because they're the best and they have, you know, the likes of Haaland, they have the likes of De Bruyne. And because their team is so well polished, if they wanted to now, they just need like icings on top of the cake. They just need like cherries on top of the cake, so they could afford to go out and get the best of the best, because they want to come to City because they're doing well majority of the time, and because, you know, they can win trophies and they're going to get a good wage, but also because they're not like rebuilding. Man United are in a rebuild now, right now. In a rebuild, you don't just look at the biggest names and the biggest stars. You've got to look at areas of the team that needs improving, where you're going to spend certain amounts of money, where the budget's going. It's really about a team effort. So we're not quite at that stage yet. Mark's plugging himself. Got a great Hojlund video coming up at 4 p.m. Basically me and him having a pint and playing pool. So the cardboard cutout finally arrived, Mark. That'll be a good show. That'll be a good show. But anyway, last little bit of news coming out. So Anthony Elanga is, well, this was Sky. Slow Spots News, as they would say. Sky came out and said Anthony Elanga is having his medical ahead of a move to Nottingham Forest today. But then it come in from Romano, who obviously is ahead of the game, and says Anthony Elanga has already completed medical tests and will sign his contract as a Nottingham Forest player today. Done and sealed. Anthony Elanga, 15 million quid. Thank you very much. That can go in the pot, heading towards Hojlund, heading towards Amrabat. And thank you, Elanga, for coming in. And, you know, thank you, Rangnick, really, because Rangnick's the reason that we're getting that fee for him, because I don't think he really would have got any game time under Ten Hag. Ten Hag clearly didn't fancy him. But Ricky will be absolutely gutted. Ricky's gutted. He is gutted. Rashford signed another contract. Bruno's captain. Elanga's going. He's falling to pieces for him. McTominay's looks like he's pushed out the team. Ricky's gutted. But 15 million quid. Do I think we could have got 20 if we pushed? Yes. But Forest, we let you off 5 mil with Elanga. Let's get this Henderson deal sorted. No more loan offers. And let's get some money in. We're actually, you know, I think when you look at Elanga, it's one of the highest fees we've got for a player in like the likes of the last decade. £15 million, which is ridiculous, but it's a start. You've got to start somewhere. Darren Mulaney says, do we know if Ten Hag's had talks with the Glazers yet? He was giving them advice over the takeover. I don't think Ten Hag's going to walk in and say, Avram, listen to me, you've got to sell up. I know you're my boss, but you've got to sell, you've got to go. Don't think that's going to happen. I do think they had some informal chats while they were in New York and in America. Obviously, nobody knows what they consisted of. Everything's very hush-hush, and we've had no news come out about that now. But Ten Hag maybe used his little bit of, you know, his man management skills to maybe politely be like, Avram and Joel, I kind of need an answer now because I want to start, you know, planning stuff for the future. And I just don't know if well, he obviously knows whether he's coming or going, but it's like, what budgets are we going to have? What's happening with the stadium? What's happening with Carrington? Like, managers need to know this sort of stuff. Sam Brock says, Auntie Elanga Beth, is that your Moss side hairdresser? Anthony Elanga, the mank is coming through on that one. George Holt says, in my opinion, I think Kane clearly doesn't have the hunger we need for a United player. Otherwise, he would pushed and moved as soon as we showed interest. I agree in the sense as I think he should be pushing the same way he did with the likes of Man City. It annoys me he's not pushing because I think that move could have happened if he did push. But he is being respectful to Spurs. Like, he's already pushed the boat once with requesting the move to Man City and dropping out of training. I don't think he wants to ruin that relationship. Tatey Jazz says, this is true United. Raw talent. Oh, I've already read that one out. Is there another one through? Have I got them all? I think I've got them all at the moment. But that is where we're at the moment, everyone, when it comes to Man United news this afternoon. It's been a good show. Mark, instead of being in the chat, he should have got his video call up. We could have done it together. We could have done the show together, but appreciate all the comments down below. I appreciate the likes on the video. Hit a like on the video if you're excited to what's to come. Hojlund news could be heating up this week. And I do think, no matter what I say about Harry Kane and what's happening with Harry Kane and how much I want Harry Kane, because I do, because I think he's world class, that doesn't mean I'm not excited for Hojlund. And I do think he's going to be a good signing. And I do think he is the player we are going to get up front for Man United. So we've just got to put our faith in him, get behind him, and let's see how the week progresses. You never know. Things could heat up with Mbappe. He could turn around and decide, you know what, Man United is the place for me. I want to come and join Rashford. I want to play under Eric Ten Hag, and I'm going to go there. I doubt it, but it could happen because we are interested. Who knows? Something crazy could happen, and, you know, I won't even mention it with Spurs. You know, they could end up selling Harry Kane and start striking a move for Mbappe, but we will see. But everyone, I think this week, things with Hojlund are going to heat up. Amrabat, maybe the first bid goes in. Could see Fred leaving. But yeah, Anthony Elanga's left, and that's where we're at. But guys, Romano now, all the questions are going to be asked by Will on That's Football. Get yourself over there. This video will redirect you across to there. We're going to ask him about Hojlund, loads of other things coming on That's Football. So make sure you stay tuned for Romano now. Thank you everyone for watching the video and getting all your comments in down below. Hit a like on the video, Hojlund video with Mark coming later as well, and we'll see you on the next one.